Everything begins with a word. Not just any word, but the one you dare to speak with conviction from the deep silence within. The entire course of your life, from obscurity to opulence, from zero to millions, hinges on your ability to accept one simple truth. The spoken word, when fused with belief and imagination, is divine law in motion. When I speak of the word, I do not speak of idle chatter or casual noise. I speak of the word as the creative force that shapes reality. It is the seed that once planted in the fertile soil of your imagination and nourished by belief grows into tangible experience. You do not need 1,000 techniques. You do not need countless hours of action or endless struggle. You only need one word believed, one word imagined, one word felt to be true. Consider this. The universe, vast and unending, responds not to your wishes or desperate pleas, but to the vibration of your inner state. That inner state is determined by what you speak within. That one word, if assumed in consciousness, becomes flesh. And the moment you feel it real, truly feel it as a present fact, everything around you reshapes itself to reflect it. I have seen individuals with nothing, no money, no help, no path, rise to wealth beyond their dreams. Not because they chased it frantically, but because they chose one word and became it. That word was not always wealth or success. Sometimes it was abundance, free, power, done. The word doesn't matter in the outer world. What matters is that they inwardly fused with that word until their mind, heart, and feeling could not tell the difference between the word and their identity. To speak a word with force is to accept it as already yours. To persist in that inner speech again and again, especially when the outer world shows lack or struggle, is to invoke the creative power of your inner world. From nothingness, from zero, the word creates. You may believe you are poor because of circumstances. You may believe that the world has been unfair, but that belief is just another word repeated over and over in your mind. And as long as that word dominates your inner speech, your world remains fixed. Change the word, and you change the pattern. Speak the word of wealth, not as a wish, but as a knowing, and wealth must come. Speak it as if it already is, because in truth it already is. You simply have not accepted it. Every person lives in a self-conceived world of their own making. Your world is an echo of the word you speak within. The rich speak riches inwardly. The powerful feel power inwardly. They may not speak it with their lips, but their inner conversation is saturated with it. That is the secret. They became the word before the world confirmed it. And because they became it, the world bowed in response. You must do the same. Choose your word, the one that reflects the life you desire, not as a distant goal, but as a present state. Say it inwardly when you rise, when you walk, when you wait. Say it when doubt appears. Say it when nothing changes. Keep saying it until it becomes you. And one day it will no longer feel like a word. It will feel like your name. A man can be born into nothing. He may have no opportunity, no support, no education. But if he accepts a word like wealth and dares to feel it as his truth, he rises, not by the effort of the body, but by the movement of imagination. The inner word is the law. Speak it, and the unseen forces of life conspire in your favor. Do not underestimate the simplicity of this truth. The mind craves complexity, but the soul knows the way, and the way is through feeling. Speak your chosen word, then feel the condition that matches it. Say wealth and feel wealthy. Say abundance and feel the abundance of life pouring through you. Say millions and know it is already done. This is not delusion. This is creation. Everything created was first imagined. Every building, every fortune, every empire began as a word in someone's mind. That word, repeated and believed, became a structure, then an event, then a reality. The same power lives in you now. You don't need anything outside of you. You already possess the seed of creation, the word and the ability to believe it. The mistake people make is to look outward too quickly. They say the word for a day, and if the world doesn't change, they give up. But the law is not rushed. The law is perfect. When the word is fully accepted, without resistance, it appears effortlessly. The process is internal. The harvest is external. But the seed is yours to plant. Be silent and speak within. That one word, spoken with inner conviction, is more powerful than 1,000 prayers made in desperation. It is not how often you speak it that matters, but how fully you believe it. One moment of true belief is enough to alter the course of your life. You are not required to convince the world. You are only required to convince yourself. The world is only a mirror. It reflects back to you what you are, and what you are is determined by the word you speak inside. So if you live in lack, ask yourself, what word have I accepted as truth? Replace it. Replace it with the word that reflects the life you now claim. It may feel foolish at first. You may say millions while living in debt. You may say freedom while feeling trapped. But persist, because the word is not magic, it is law. And law responds only to consistency. When your inner word remains unchanged, regardless of outer appearances, you align with the creative power that molds reality. You may wonder how one word can change everything. But it is not the word alone. It is the word made flesh through imagination and feeling. It is the word believed when the world says otherwise. It is the word spoken from the deep silence of being. That word, when fused with imagination, becomes a command to the universe. Let others chase, struggle, and strive. Let them depend on luck or chance. You will know the truth, that the only cause is your inner state. And that state is determined by the word you live from. To go from 0 to millions is not a miracle. It is natural law, and the key to that law is within you. Let this be your practice. Choose one word and embody it. Let it be your breath, your tone, your mood. Let it saturate your inner conversations. Let it shape the pictures in your mind. Let it become the assumption behind every action. Do not ask when will it happen. Say instead, it is done. Let that be your word. Done. The mind will rebel. It will remind you of the bank account, the bills, the past. But those are echoes of the old word. Speak the new word until the echoes fade. Speak it until it becomes louder than fear. Speak it until you forget the old story entirely. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the author of it, and you write it with the word. Whether that word is poverty or wealth, the law does not judge. It simply reflects. So choose wisely. Choose powerfully. Choose now. From 0 to millions is not a journey of effort. It is a journey of identity. Become the word, and the world becomes the result. All that you need is within you. One word, one truth, one decision to believe. The outer will follow the inner as surely as day follows night. And so, as you persist in the quiet utterance of your chosen word, something extraordinary begins to unfold. Not in the noise of the outer world, but in the silence of your own consciousness. You start to notice subtle shifts, slight bends in the direction of your reality. Perhaps the first evidence is not millions in the bank, but an idea, a feeling, a call, a message, a new door that was always there yet had gone unseen. And you will know it is not coincidence, but the movement of the word made manifest. When you remain faithful to that one word, life begins to reassemble itself around your new assumption. The people you meet, the places you go, the timing of things, they all begin to line up with the reality your word has summoned. Not because you forced them, but because you have aligned yourself with a vibration that draws its own. You may find that your desires change as well. You may realize that what you truly wanted was not just money or millions, but freedom, power, joy, security, expansion. And if the word you chose contained those things in its frequency, you will experience them in ever unfolding layers. The millions may come as currency, or they may come as time, connections, or miracles that no dollar could ever purchase. And yet the essence is always the same. Your inner world giving birth to form. Some may call this magic, others may call it madness, but those who live it know. They know the taste of deliberate creation. They know what it is to speak a word in the stillness, and watch the world change to mirror it. They know what it is to rest in the unseen, while the seen transforms. This is not about affirmations shouted without belief. This is not about speaking loudly, or forcing yourself to feel. This is about a quiet conviction, a knowing that comes from within, a willingness to dwell in the feeling that your word has already completed itself. Because the truth is, all things are already finished. The moment you claim your word, the moment you inhabit it fully, it begins its descent from the invisible to the visible. You are not separate from what you seek. The very desire itself is evidence of its availability. You would not even long for it if it were not yours. And the bridge between desire and manifestation is built by your word. That word, once accepted as true, collapses time and removes resistance. Do not be distracted by appearances. Appearances are old echoes. They do not matter. They are shadows cast by thoughts once held. If you try to fight the shadows, you remain in bondage. But if you ignore them and turn to the word within, the light of your assumption dissolves the shadows effortlessly. This is how a man goes from nothing to everything. This is how a woman rises from the dust of despair to stand in glory. This is how you move from zero to millions. Not by toil, not by luck, but by the word. One word, spoken within, believed, imagined, felt. The world will try to teach you otherwise. It will tell you to hustle harder, to earn it with sweat, to fear scarcity and chase abundance. But those who obey the world remain enslaved by it. The masters of life speak differently. They dwell in silence. They imagine boldly. They choose their word and live from it until the world has no choice but to yield. Every law that governs manifestation responds to your inner word. You are not waiting for a blessing. You are the blessing. You are not chasing the millions. You are already one with the energy of it. The word is your permission slip. It is your plane ticket. It is your signature on the invisible contract of creation. When you say it with feeling, you are not asking. You are assuming. You are not wishing. You are accepting. And the universe does not delay the delivery of what has been fully accepted. It must come. It must obey. The only delay is in your doubt, your disbelief, your return to the old word. So be mindful of what you speak inwardly. Guard your inner dialogue. If you catch yourself saying the old word, words like broke, struggle, impossible, do not condemn yourself. Simply return to your chosen word. Say it again and again until it becomes your resting place, your home. The most powerful transformations occur when nothing on the outside has changed, but everything on the inside has. That is when you know your word is taking root. And though the world has not yet caught up, you walk differently, you speak differently, you expect differently, because the word has taken hold. You will begin to see the fingerprints of your new word everywhere, in conversations, in signs, in synchronicities. You will marvel at how the invisible becomes visible, and how the unseen becomes form. But it will not feel like surprise. It will feel like recognition, because you knew all along. You knew when you first chose the word and believed it. You knew before the world knew, and that is why it comes to you. Never forget that the world is a mirror, not a maker. It reflects your word but does not create it. You are the cause. You are the center. You are the speaker of the word and the dreamer of the dream. The world simply obeys your direction. So direct it wisely. If you wish to experience millions, speak millions. Not just once, but until the idea becomes part of your being. Until every cell in your body vibrates in harmony with it. Until you can no longer remember the time when you did not feel rich. And even if nothing around you changes overnight, stay faithful. The greatest test is not when you succeed, but when you still appear to fail. Will you abandon the word in doubt, or will you hold it so tightly that even failure must give way to your belief? You are not small. You are not helpless. You are not subject to the winds of fate. You are the living word. The moment you realize this, you will never again beg for change. You will speak it into being. Everything begins with one word. It does not matter what the word is. What matters is that it is yours. Yours to speak. Yours to feel. Yours to embody. The man who rose from zero to millions did not work harder than everyone else. He simply believed differently. He simply accepted a new word and refused to let go of it. Let others debate and doubt. Let others ask how and when. You will answer with your word. That will be your method. That will be your strategy. That will be your power. Because the word is always enough. There will come a day when you no longer say the word to convince yourself, because it will already feel like your truth. It will no longer be a practice or a technique. It will be your identity. You will no longer repeat it to make it happen. You will speak it simply because it is what you are. And in that moment, everything you once hoped for will surround you so naturally, so effortlessly, that it will feel like it was always yours. You will look back on the days of doubt and smile, not with regret, but with reverence for the version of you who dared to speak the word when there was no proof, when there was nothing but silence. That version of you was the hero, the alchemist, the creator. And it was that version who brought you here. When others ask you how it happened, when they ask you what you did, you will pause for a moment, because how do you explain something so simple? How do you explain that all you did was choose one word and live from it completely? They may not believe it. They may laugh. But you will know. You will remember the power that rose within you the moment you committed to the word. And in that knowing, you will no longer need to prove or persuade. You will simply continue living from that space of inner mastery, watching as the world continuously bends to your assumption. You'll find that you have become a quiet force, one that speaks less and manifests more, one that moves not through effort, but through certainty. You won't even need to tell others what word you used, because they will see the result in your life. You might change your word as you grow. What once was wealth might evolve into freedom and later into expansion and then service. Each word will carry you to a new level, a new experience, a new realm of self-realization. But the process will remain the same. Choose the word, feel the word, be the word. As you continue, you'll begin to understand that the word is not a tool you use, but a mirror reflecting the truth you accept about yourself. The more powerfully you claim your word, the more clearly life reflects it. You'll see this law in action everywhere. In your business, your relationships, your health. Everything is subject to the same principle. And if ever you forget, if ever you fall into fear or doubt or lack again, you will not stay there long. Because now you know the way back. You'll remember that all you must do is return to the word. Speak it, feel it, trust it. Let it become the inner tone of your being once more. In time, your confidence will be unshakable. You will no longer react to appearances. You will no longer beg or strive. You will command not with arrogance but with authority. Quiet, sacred authority. Because you understand who you are, and you understand the power that flows through you. Even your silence will carry weight, because your inner conversation will be so saturated with truth, with wealth, with abundance, that your very presence will transmit it. Others will be drawn to you and not know why. They will feel your certainty. They will feel your peace. They will want what you have, but they will not know that it began with one word whispered in the dark. And should you choose to share this truth, do so not to impress but to liberate. Tell them gently that they are not at the mercy of the world, that they are not broken or behind, that within them is the same power, the same ability to rise, to create, to multiply. Show them by your life. Let your abundance speak. It is not too late. It is never too late. It is never too late. You can be at the bottom facing complete loss and still rise higher than you ever imagined. You can be bankrupt in your finances and still rich in vision. You can have nothing and yet feel the fullness of everything. And from that feeling alone, draw the visible world to match your invisible knowing. Because there is only one source, one power, one reality. And it lives within you. The word is your key to it. Not because the word is magical in itself, but because your acceptance of it is the permission the universe waits for. Life does not happen to you. It happens through you. And you are the gatekeeper of your own experience. You do not need 1,000 affirmations or techniques. You do not need endless hours of meditation. You need only to decide. Decide what word you are. Decide what truth you now claim. Let that be your anchor in every storm. Let that be your song in every silence. Let that be your wealth in every seeming lack. And the more you return to this, the simpler it becomes. You'll begin to smile when things go wrong, because you'll know they're not real, not truly. They are echoes of the old word, and they dissolve as quickly as you release them. You will stop fighting shadows. You will stop chasing illusions. You will live from within, and the outer will follow. That is the promise. That is the principle. That is the law. One word. Chosen. Felt. Believed. And through it, everything changes. And as you continue to dwell in this new assumption, you will find yourself drawn effortlessly to inspired actions. Not forced, not calculated, but natural movements that align with your word. The phone call you suddenly feel led to make. The message you feel inspired to write. The decision you once feared that now feels obvious. All of it flows from the word you've claimed. Because once the inner shift occurs, the outer becomes a dance, not a battle. You'll begin to notice that opportunities no longer need to be chased. They come to you. Resources find you. People are placed on your path without effort. Not because you are lucky, but because you have become the vibration that matches your desire. The outer world no longer resists you. It recognizes you. And every time you reflect on this journey, you'll realize just how unnecessary the struggle truly was. The pain, the doubt, the striving. It was never required. It was only your temporary forgetfulness. And once you remembered the word and returned to your true place in creation, everything softened, everything opened. This is the power that was hidden in simplicity. This is why it has always been one word. Not many, just one. Because your mind, when focused on one truth, becomes the channel for infinite expression. Scatter your mind with many words, and it becomes confused. Center it on one, and it becomes divine. All great creators know this, whether they speak it or not. The ones who build empires, who transform lives, who turn ideas into legacy, they are not guessing, they are not wishing, they are not trying, they are being. And what they are being is a living expression of the word they chose long ago and never let go. And now you have that same choice. You stand at the same threshold. You may look at your life and see only fragments, struggle, limitation, but that is only the echo of your previous word. And the moment you speak a new one, and feel it as real, the entire structure of your life begins to reorganize itself. You don't need to fix the broken pieces. You only need to choose your word and abide in it. Everything else will dissolve or align, not through effort, but through natural consequence. The universe does not need to be convinced. It needs to be instructed, and your word is that instruction. Each time you rise in the morning, speak it again, not because it is not true, but because you are reminding your mind of what your spirit already knows. Say it in silence, in stillness, with reverence. Say it when no one is watching. Say it when fear whispers in your ear. Say it not as a wish, but as a fact. And do not wait to feel it. Feel it now. When you do this, you will notice your emotions shift. The inner state will soften. Peace will replace striving. Joy will return, not because of anything outside of you, but because you are once again in harmony with your own power. That word is not something you repeat to create something outside. It is something you use to remember who you are. The one who walks in the feeling of their word does not question when it will happen. They know it already has. Time becomes irrelevant. Circumstances become powerless. The outer noise becomes silent, and they walk not as a person seeking, but as a person embodying. And as you continue in this state, something truly beautiful happens. You no longer want to manifest from lack or ego. You no longer wish to possess to prove your worth. Instead, you realize that you have always been the source, that the millions were not the goal, but the mirror. And now, having found the source, the mirror must reflect it. This is the journey from zero to millions, but it is so much more than wealth. It is the path of awakening to your own authority. It is the realization that your inner word is the only real cause, and that all else is simply its effect. The outside world may change in infinite ways, but your power remains in your inner tone, in your inner declaration, in the one word you choose to be. And so you begin to walk through life no longer needing validation, no longer seeking signs, because your inner conviction has become the sign. You have touched the source of creation, and recognized it was never outside of you. It was always within, waiting for you to speak with certainty. Every step you take from this awareness is guided not by reaction, but by creation. You move not out of fear or lack, but from fulfillment. You're no longer trying to make things happen. You're letting them unfold from the word you've already become. The beauty of this path is that it is not exclusive. It belongs to no religion, no culture, no background. It belongs to anyone willing to believe. The same law that governs the breath in your lungs governs the rise from nothing to everything. You were never disqualified. You were never at a disadvantage. The playing field was always within your control, and now through one word, you have begun to claim your place on it. When others see the transformation in you, they may ask what changed. They may ask if you received an inheritance, met the right contact, stumbled into fortune. They will look for outer causes, but you will know the truth. It wasn't luck. It wasn't timing. It was your inner declaration, unwavering and felt, that did the work. Your smile, not out of pride, but out of deep understanding, that the greatest miracles are born from the most invisible movements within. Even as your external world expands, more money, more opportunities, more influence, you'll find yourself less attached to those things. Not because you don't appreciate them, but because you now understand they are effects, not causes. They are shadows of the light you carry inside. They cannot define you, because you are the one who created them. And should they disappear tomorrow, the power to recreate them remains in your hands, untouched, unshaken. You become a different kind of person, not one who reacts to the world, but one who commands it through stillness, not through arrogance or noise, but through an unshakable presence. You may say very little, but everything around you will speak of your word, your home, your work, your relationships. They will all hum with the frequency of your chosen identity. You won't need to announce your success. It will announce itself through the life you live. And even more importantly, you will inspire others without trying, just by being, just by existing as someone who once stood in the place of emptiness and chose not to beg for better, but to declare it. You will become a living testimony that imagination and belief are not weak ideas, but the most powerful forces in existence. You will no longer preach possibility. You will radiate it. People will feel it in your presence, because what you speak internally now overflows externally, without effort. All of it will come not from doing more, but from being more, being aligned, being still, being faithful to your word. The world will call you successful, fortunate, lucky, but none of that will matter, because you'll know what truly happened. You'll know that when the world called you nothing, you whispered one word back, and that word changed everything. And now, having lived the truth of this word, you no longer wait for confirmation from the world. The riches, the recognition, the results, they may come in waves, but your inner certainty never wavers. You are not moved by delay or doubt, because you know that the moment you accepted the word as true, the outcome was sealed. It was never a matter of if. It was only a matter of unfolding. You walk in the knowing that all things are present, and time is only the stage upon which the invisible becomes seen. Others may still chase, still strive, still seek permission to believe in their desires, but you stand quietly, already in possession of what they are pursuing. You no longer confuse motion with creation, because you've discovered the real movement happens within. It is not effort that changes things. It is alignment. It is not trying harder. It is trusting deeper. The power was never in the outer hustle, but in the inner harmony. And you'll notice something else. The world starts offering you more than you imagined. It responds with generosity beyond logic, with timing that feels miraculous, with people and places, and things that fit so precisely, they leave no room for doubt. These are not rewards for good behavior. They are reflections of your identity. They are simply the fruit of the word you became. Even in quiet moments, sitting in stillness, walking alone, watching the wind move the trees, you will feel it. That unmistakable vibration of being. The word you chose still echoes, not as something separate from you, but as you. It has become the air you breathe, the energy you transmit. There is no more effort to remember it. It lives through you, speaks through you, creates through you. And you realize now that what you really unlocked was not just the path from zero to millions. You unlocked yourself. You stepped out of the illusion of lack and limitation, and into the remembrance of your own divine authority. You stopped waiting for life to validate you, and began living as the one who validates reality. You stopped asking, "Can I?" and began declaring, "I am." You no longer search for the secret, because you are the secret. The mystery is solved. The veil is lifted. What was hidden in plain sight is now fully known, that the world is yourself pushed out, and the word you speak within is the architect of your life. And now, whether you're speaking to a crowd, or sitting in silence, whether millions are in your account or on their way, whether the world applauds or misunderstands, you remain the same, still, rooted, whole, because you understand that the one word chosen and believed is the one power, eternal and complete. And so your life becomes a living current of that one word flowing effortlessly through all things. It touches your decisions, your habits, your posture, your gaze. It moves into your business, your bank accounts, your relationships, your body. Not because you forced it, but because you finally allowed it. You surrendered to the truth of it, and in doing so you surrendered all resistance to the flow of abundance that had been waiting for you to simply say yes. This is the grace of creation. There is no strain in truth, no struggle in alignment. When you are one with your word, life becomes simple. Not always easy, but clear. You don't need to control every outcome, because you've already claimed the root cause. You don't panic when things shift, because you know the foundation of your world isn't built on what happens. It's built on what you assume to be real. And what you assume now is wealth. Not wealth as a concept, or a dream or a hope, but wealth as your nature, your rhythm, your reality. It colors how you walk into a room, how you speak your name, how you treat others, how you receive. You are no longer reaching for wealth. You are it. The word has filled you, and now the world must reflect it. You move through your day, not waiting for miracles, but knowing that you are the miracle. You wait not to chase something, but to express what already is. And this expression becomes your offering to the world. Your creativity flows more easily. Your decisions become precise. Your energy becomes magnetic, not because you tried to make it so, but because you spoke one word and surrendered to it fully. You'll find now that life meets you halfway. You take a step, and the next appears. You hold the feeling, and the form takes shape. You declare it done, and doors open that logic can't explain. The timing, the people, the resources, all of it begins to align with uncanny ease. And in those moments, you will not be surprised. You will smile and nod, because you knew all along. You knew it the moment you dared to believe in the unseen. Others may still be waiting for the right time, the right strategy, the right sign, but you have become time. You have become the sign. You are no longer waiting, you are creating, and your word is the blueprint. And the deeper you go into this realization, the more you understand that the millions were never the destination. They were the permission slip for you to discover your true nature. They were the symbol, not the substance. The real treasure was your own awareness waking up, realizing it was never limited, never without, never small. The treasure was remembering that you could speak one word and shape the infinite. And as this understanding takes root, you see clearly that the old self, the one who once doubted, feared, hesitated, was only a shadow, born of a forgotten word. That self was built on inherited beliefs, borrowed limitations, unconscious repetition of stories that were never yours. But the moment you claimed a new word, you authored a new identity, and with it a new world began to unfold, not from the outside in, but from the inside out. You no longer look at your current circumstances as definitions of what is possible. You look at them as remnants, as fading echoes of past assumptions. You smile at them, even the ones that appear undesirable, because you know they're already dissolving. You've already replaced them with a higher truth. You've already spoken a word that overrides every appearance. And because you know this, you remain unmoved. You don't flinch when the numbers look low. You don't react when others doubt you. You don't explain yourself to those who can't yet see. You simply return to your word, again and again. You go within. You enter the silence where all things are shaped, and you speak, not to ask, but to declare, not to request, but to assume. Because you understand now, the universe does not give you what you want, it gives you what you are, and you are your word. You are the embodiment of it. You wear it, you think from it, you feel with it. You've allowed it to take full residence in your imagination, and now it expresses itself in every detail of your life. Your speech reflects it. Your choices echo it. Your presence confirms it. You've stopped rehearsing lack, stopped preparing for loss, stopped predicting failure. You've realized that even caution can be a form of fear, that even modesty can be a disguise for disbelief. So you no longer apologize for dreaming big. You no longer shrink to make others comfortable. You no longer justify your expansion. You simply live from your word, not loudly, but surely, not arrogantly, but absolutely. And everything you touch begins to prosper, not by magic, but by law. The law that says the inner state becomes the outer world. The law that knows no exceptions, no favoritism, no struggle, only alignment. You are aligned now. And because you are, what once seemed distant begins to feel inevitable. Ideas come easily. Connections appear naturally. Time expands. Money flows. Possibilities multiply. And through it all you remain grounded, not in pride but in purpose. You know that the same power that took you from zero to millions is not yours to hoard, but to honor. Not to prove your worth, but to fulfill your calling. because your word was never just about money, it was about awakening. And now you walk with that quiet knowing, that sacred certainty, that calm authority, that comes only when you've met yourself in the deepest silence, and spoken one word with unwavering faith. Now as you stand in the fullness of this realization, you can no longer pretend to be powerless. You cannot return to the smallness you once believed was truth, because you've seen the creative force that lives in you. You've witnessed what one word can do when it's spoken with conviction, lived with imagination, and held with unwavering faith. From zero you have risen, not through force, not through chance, but through inner alignment. And the same law that lifted you will sustain you, because you are no longer seeking the power, you are the power. You are the word made manifest. So go forward boldly. Let no circumstance shake you, no opinion redirect you, no doubt delay you. Speak your word, become your word, and watch the universe obey. Your millions, your abundance, your freedom, it's not coming, it's already here. And now that you know this, you can never unknow it. You have become the author of your reality. You have become the word, and the word is enough.